Let's go to Chris, who's on the line in St. Paul, Minnesota. Chris, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm living the dream. What's going on?
Awesome. Well, I was recently informed at 51 years old and after 24 years of working at the nonprofit that I'm at that there's been a restructure and my position's been eliminated.
Oh,
So I'm at a loss.
oh my gosh. How long ago did this happen?
About 6 weeks ago, and I have 6 weeks left to either find another job or be done at the end of May.
Yeah. Well, let's just start with reframing your entire context, shall we? You
Sure.
are not lost. I think that you're scared, and I think that you might have some confusion, but you are not lost. We just have to regroup here, and we have to say, all right, we had something thrown our way that we didn't expect to come our way, and it doesn't change anything about who you are. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All right. So tell me what I can do to help the most today. What's the biggest need?
Well, I'm struggling with
That's okay.
struggling with what is next. I need a job.
Right.
I need an income.
Right.
But I'm trying to figure out what that is. I think I want to change job, the type of work I'm doing. I've been in nonprofit my entire career.
Okay.
I'm pretty convinced that I want out of that.
Okay.
I've got a couple of things that I'm looking at and excites me, but it may not mean immediate income or full replacement of what I'm making at this time. It could get there.
Okay.
But,
all right. Let's pause for a second.
Me.
I know you're
Sure.
I know you're totally scared, and I love that you're emotional right now because it tells me that you're very much alive. And I want to reassure you something: you are not going to starve, and you're not going to be homeless. Okay, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
I'm serious. You just need somebody to tell you that, and you're going to be okay. Now let's get about the business of being okay, and let's get about the business of thriving. How about that?
Sounds great.
All right, here we go. How much money do you need to replace? What's the income that we need? Just kind of the bottom line, not ideal income, but just no less than this.
Probably 50.
Okay, great. And I want to know, you've been thinking about some things. I want to know what those things are, that you're still unsure if it's full-time income, but you've been thinking about what you really want to do, and I want to know that. What are we talking about?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I deal with in my job is federal contracting. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking at becoming a mobile closer as a side gig, and I've been looking at it for a while, and I'm in the process of getting ready to take the test and stuff. So I'm looking at doing that, and that could turn into a full-time gig.
Okay, now hold on. So what is it called? Mobile closer?
Mobile closer, so a closing agent, but not for full real estate, just like loan documents and things like that.
Now, when you say to me that may turn into something full-time, can you be more specific? So right now, it's one of those things that if you did it, it would be part-time hours, part-time pay?
Yes.
But what would be the factors involved in that becoming a full-time? What's the circumstances that I'm unaware of?
Getting the referrals.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you just got to get out there and meet people and get them to, work with you.
What would the part-time pay be that you feel like you're pretty guaranteed that you would make starting out as a mobile closer?
I guess I don't know. I just know what, approximately what I'll be able to charge per time that I do it.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do on that. That right now is not a viable alternative until you get the details from somebody who does that work. You need to know what a realistic income looks like, how long it would take you to get on your feet there. So I'm okay with that if that's something you really are very interested in. Because if that were full-time, would you be jazzed about that gig?
It's not like what I'm passionate about.
What are you passionate about?
Well, I've worked with people with disabilities my entire career. Right. And so one thing I've looked at doing is becoming a advocate or guardian, a guardian conservator for individuals with disabilities.
I love that. So what's it going to take for that to happen?
A class that now is not offered for a year. and the getting out and meeting with lawyers and networking with people.
Okay, great. So here's what I think. I think you have to look at that as your next long-term play. But we're going to do something in the short term, which is going to take all your stress away and just go get a decent job where you're making 50 or close. Just go do that and know that this is until you can take the class, make the connections, get in proximity like I teach to people that are doing that type of work for those with disabilities, do the research, how much does that pay? And so this is just a transition for you. Because the way I hear you talking about it, it seems like that is what you ultimately want to do. That would be close to a dream job or something that you would really, really love.
Yeah.
So go for it. What's holding you? Hey, now's the time. Now's the time. You've been kicked out of the nest. Make the most of it.
Yes. Well, I've been trying to look at this as an opportunity, but it just really is, a struggle.
Well, no, you're just scared.
Well, it is, but I keep running up against, I'm not getting called for interviews, and I get interviews and I don't move on. And, I feel like I'm facing potentially some ageism, and I'm at the point where I feel like maybe I have to dumb myself down to get recognized.
Well, no, here's what you need to do. You need to practice the proximity principle. I want you to just think real quick off the top of your head. How many people do you think you know in St. Paul, Minnesota, whether it's close relationship or an acquaintance? How many people? Ballpark.
Oh, a few hundred.
Yeah, exactly. Those few hundred people. I wonder how many people they know. I think this is hey, here's who I am. You all know me. Let me tell you what's going on. Here's my long-term plan. My long-term plan is to work with those in the struggling with disabilities, to be this kind of advocate or whatever it is that you described. And this is what I want to do, but it's going to take me this amount of time because the class is available for a year. I've got to make about this much money in the interim till I can take the class and then get out of the class, and I'll be making the relationships happen this entire time for the year while I'm waiting for the class to take place. So I've got a plan, but I just need to land somewhere where I can add value to people. These are my talents. This is the work that I enjoy doing. I am super flexible. I'm humble. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go. And I've just been kind of throwing resumes out there, and that's not working because it doesn't. And you're going to go to kencoleman.com and get my resume guide, and it shows you how to do a resume, teaches you how to build these relationships that I'm talking about. You've got all these hundreds of people, and you've got to turn this into your full-time job the next 6 weeks. You got 6 more weeks of severance. That's more than enough time for you to get super serious about connecting, not networking. Don't send out any more cold resumes. Say, hey, I'm looking at this job or this job or this job. Do you know anybody that works there? And we want to get to a point where somebody takes your resume and walks it into somebody and says, I know Chris. Chris is awesome. And Chris would be a huge asset to your team. Now, it sounds so simple, but I don't want to come across as glib, Chris, but I've had lots of callers do this, and it actually works. It's called shaking the relationship tree. Use the existing relationships you have and stop cold submitting resumes. Relationships are everything when it comes to getting a job. A resume is worthless without a relationship. We're in the hottest job economy in modern history. Trust me, you have value somewhere, and you just need to land somewhere, take the pressure off, and then move forward once you get all the certifications, everything you need to do ultimately what you want to do.